April 1996. 1 year after Timothy McVeigh bombed the Oklahoma City Federal Building, McVeigh's defense attorney, Stephen Jones, is amassing evidence of what he sees as a wide conspiracy. It's a plot that stretches all the way to the Philippines and involves Islamic terrorists, including Al-Qaeda. But a small-town newspaper reporter named J.D. Cash pursues another terrorist connection closer to home. Cash, who writes for the McCurtain Gazette in Idabel, Oklahoma, investigates a neo-Nazi group called the Aryan Republican Army that has possible ties to Timothy McVeigh.
I made some inquiries to the Stephen Jones defense team, and I was wanting to sit down with him and just share our notes.
Cash discovers that Stephen Jones has also been digging into McVeigh's neo-Nazi connections. After the Gulf War, McVeigh was deeply immersed in the survivalist subculture and even belonged to the Ku Klux Klan. Cash's investigation takes him to one of the major strongholds of America's white supremacist movement. Eastern Oklahoma, 1993. A 400-acre compound named Elohim City, just 6 miles from the Arkansas border, is home to more than 100 followers of Christian identity, a religion that promotes Aryans as God's chosen race. Since the tragedies at Waco and Ruby Ridge, Elohim City has become a breeding ground for homegrown revolutionaries. Members of the Ku Klux Klan and the Aryan Republican Army, or ARA, take refuge there.
They even had an ongoing paramilitary training program there, where they built bunkers and they had target practice and even attempted to acquire some chemical or biological weapons.
In the spring of 1993, a German citizen named Andreas Karl Strassmeyer is chief of security at the compound. Strassmeyer, also known as Andy the German, boasts of serving in the German Special Forces and claims his grandfather was a founding member of the Nazi Party.
They realize that Andy has all of this tremendous military training and is very gung-ho. And so what they start doing is sending their young skinheads to Elohim City. And so what we have in eastern Oklahoma is, in effect, during the early 90s to the mid-90s, is the largest terrorist training camp in the United States.
Around this time, Strassmeyer meets an unemployed Gulf War veteran, Timothy McVeigh, at a gun show. Strassmeyer gives him his business card. 6 months later, McVeigh receives a traffic ticket 20 miles from Elohim City. That same week, McVeigh and Terry Nichols have registered at a Fayetteville, Arkansas motel, while ARA leaders are in town planning an armored truck heist.
How can you have McVeigh in the Aryan Republican Army in the same place, on the same date, at the same time, and call that a coincidence?
We had a source in law enforcement who was conducting surveillance at Elohim City. He told me that Tim McVeigh had been to Elohim City on 12 to 20 times over the years.
McVeigh, who once worked as an armored truck driver, may have joined his ARA friends in one of their favorite pursuits, robbing banks.
He sent a letter to his sister Jennifer saying that he'd found a, quote, a new network of friends to work with. It is well known that he at one time passed her several $100 bills, and he said that those were from a bank robbery he helped plan.
J.D. Cash believes that McVeigh was involved in a September 1994 ARA holdup in Overland Park, Kansas.
Witnesses provided a sketch of him. If you look at it, there's no question it's McVeigh. Tim McVeigh happens to be there in that part of Kansas, staying at Terry Nichols' place.
By January 1995, 3 months before the Oklahoma City bombing, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms has received several warnings. A 23-year-old informant named Carol Howe has reported something big is brewing at Elohim City.
In these reports, it says these guys are planning to go to war. And when you read these reports, you know that trouble's coming.
According to Howe, Andreas Strassmeyer and his followers are planning to take, quote, direct actions and operations such as assassinations, bombings, and mass shootings. Howe allegedly wrote in a report in December 1994 that Strassmeyer was threatening to blow up federal buildings in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Today, however, this report is missing from ATF files.
It was clear that this woman was at the heart of a conspiracy that had warned the government that this was coming.
But if a witness had already told the ATF about the paramilitary training at Elohim City, why didn't agents act?
FBI sort of told the ATF, stay out of Elohim City. The FBI was seriously considering a raid on Elohim City.
Did turf battles between two federal agencies create an opportunity for the terrorists?
And as one ex-FBI agent told me, he said, you know, what makes this one unusual, this turf war, is 168 people lost.
On April 21st, 1995, 2 days after the Oklahoma City bombing, Carol Howe tells ATF and FBI officials that she saw a man resembling John Doe 1 at Elohim City. She later claims this man was Timothy McVeigh. McVeigh's phone card records substantiate his links to Elohim City. 2 weeks prior to the bombing, on April 5th at 1:46 p.m., McVeigh phoned the compound from a motel room in Kingman, Arizona, and asked for Andy the German. Moments earlier, McVeigh had called the Ryder Truck Rental Agency to reserve the vehicle that he would use in the terrorist attack.
Even McVeigh told me he called Elohim City to see if after he bombed the Murrah building, he could come there. That's a staggering admission. It means he knew them. He was one of them.
Attorney Stephen Jones further contends that Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols were receiving support from two widely divergent groups that shared one important ideological link. Jones asserts that the ties that McVeigh had to white supremacists and the alleged ties that Terry Nichols had to Islamic extremists are not mutually exclusive.
The neo-Nazi right and the radical Islamic Muslim fundamentalists have one overriding thing in common: anti-Semitism. The United States is the strongest foreign power which supports Israel.
Many of these neo-Nazi groups have received significant sums of money from regimes like Gaddafi's regime or actual terrorist groups like the PLO.
By April 1997, Jones is prepared to defend his client, Timothy McVeigh, in one of the highest profile federal cases in U.S. history. Jones believes he can tie McVeigh to a far-flung network of both foreign terrorists and domestic revolutionaries, throwing doubt on the government's claim that McVeigh alone detonated the bomb in Oklahoma City. Meanwhile, the government has marshaled its own evidence. Prosecutor Larry Mackey argues that there's no reliable proof of any wider conspiracy, centered here or abroad.
Everyone on the prosecution team and the investigation team woke up every morning asking the question, have we got everybody who's criminally responsible?